Hello and welcome back everyone, and as promised we will show you the best games in the tournament, which is Norway Chess 2024. This is round 4 of the tournament. We are having Alireza Firouzja from France faced off with the world chess champion right now, Liren from China. So let's see how it goes. The game starts with d4, knight to f6, and we get bishop to f4. Whoa, the London system. It's probably the most hated opening because players gets bored of it because it's so solid for white and the game is boring, but this is not the case. We are going to see such a beautiful nice game with the London system. So we get d5 from black, pawn to e3, and now pawn to c5. We get knight to f3, which is the main line of the London system, and then we get knight to c6. There is knight to c3 going into the Jubava London system, and there is the classical London system with knight b to d2. So we get bishop to g4, and now pawn to c3. Pawn to e6 from black, and now queen to b3. Queen to b3 is usually faced off with queen to b6 or queen to c8, and here the main move is rook to c1, but Alireza deviates and plays pawn to h3. We get bishop to h5, bishop to e2, defending the knight, ready to castle, bishop to e7, and till now the position is just normal, right? They are just people chilling. Maybe white will castle, black will castle, but Alireza says no, I am coming here to try to play for a win. Pawn to g4, hitting the black bishop. Bishop to g6, and now knight to h4, chasing out the bishop again. Bishop to e4, of course there is knight takes e4, but then this knight will get a strong square, and also this knight is going to be loose on h4, so we get pawn to f3 from Alireza. And right now, Liren says to Alireza, okay, you are messing with me, you are messing with the world champion. Give me that bishop and give me that knight. You're thinking you are hitting my bishop, I am hitting your knight and I am hitting your bishop as well. So we get g takes h5 from Alireza. And now, instead of capturing the knight, and after king to d1, Alireza is a little bit better still because the black pieces is so loose. Instead, Alireza here chooses to go pawn to c4 to shut down the center immediately. We get queen to a4 from Alireza, and now bishop takes h4 with check, and now we get king to d1. Bishop to d3 from Alireza, because the bishop has got no squares. If the bishop drops back to f5, then e4 is such a strong move here, because you cannot take, because after this trade happens, now the bishop is trapped and simply the pawn on c4 is lost. So bishop to d3 is the only move, and we get bishop takes d3, c takes d3, and now queen to b5, hitting the pawn on d3, which has got no defender. Deng says, okay, you win a pawn, it's nothing, I am just running my king out of the center, and your king is stuck because you moved your king. So we get queen takes d3 from Alireza, and now pawn to f6, preparing the push on the center to crack out the center and exploit the fact that the white king is in the center. So we get rook to g1, trying to attack the black king, and now we get pawn to e5, just trying to crash out the center. We get d takes e5, f takes e5, and now bishop to h6, hitting the pawn on g7, and we got rook to f7, defending the pawn on g7. Just as simple. Deng is taking it easy. But Alireza here captures the pawn on d5. And this is a huge moment because after queen takes d5, you are opening up the d file. Your king is there, and it's kind of dangerous to do that, right? So we get king to f8 from Liren, and right now rook to d7 is a major problem. So we get queen to e4, hitting the pawn on h7. And right now, if black captures that, then the bishop is taken. So we cannot take the bishop. So we get queen takes h3, which is double question mark, a blunder right here. What was the best here was bishop to f6, which after bishop to g5, then there is going to be a trade happening on g5, and then black can take the pawn on h3, and after king to c2, okay, the both sides here are fine, and there is nothing huge to be worried about. But after queen takes h3, then queen takes h7, here black is stuck in a problem. First of all, if black decides to take the bishop, then there is going to be queen to g8, and after king to e7, then the rook on a8 is going to be dropped. So what to do if black cannot capture the bishop? And we will see Liren plays rook to d8, pinning that knight, threatening queen takes f3 right now, and also rook takes f3 is such a major problems. So what to do right here? Here Alireza sacrifices the whole house and plays rook takes g7. He is trusting his attack more than black. So we get rook takes g7 and queen takes g7 with check, king to e8, and now queen to g6 check, king to e7 coming back, and now bishop to g5 trading down some pieces, as right now white is up 2 pawns. White has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and black has got only 3, so that's 3 pawns advantage for white. So we get bishop takes g5, queen takes g5, king to f7. The engine was really loving the idea of king d6, but it seems crazy, right? You just bring your rook to d8 to try to make some attack and exploit that the fact that the king on d1 who plays his rook and then blocks his own rook at the same time, it is impossible. So we get queen to g6 from Alireza, and now king to e7 from black going back, and right now it is the consolidation time for Alireza. Whether he can consolidate his position to go on and immediately win the game or not, we will just find out shortly. We get king to c2 from Alireza. He is trying to consolidate his position, run his king away from any danger, queen to f1 checks, and now we get queen to h2 from Liren, hitting the white knight. Only move to defend it is rook to d1, and now we get queen to e2, trying to play for queen to d3 checks, or maybe some tricks with knight to b4 check, trying to make any sort of counterplay. So we get queen to h7 with check, king to e6, and after queen to e4, black just resigns. Liren just resigns in this position. Can you believe it? It is the choice for you, but it is so simple right now. Right now, white is just going to push his h pawn, and king to c1 and knight c4 seems nothing, and queen to c4 is a major threat to trade down the queens, and the position is just hopeless to play. Liren just called it and resigns immediately. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check our latest, most interesting played games in that tournament right now. We are having round 4. Make sure to check round 3 and round 2 and stay tuned for the next videos. Thank you and goodbye.